Okay, hello YouTube. Today I have a bit of a different video for you. I know it might be a bit hard to see it at the moment, but I will zoom in so you'll be able to see what's on the paper here in a moment. This is a project idea that I thought of because I'm anxious. If you saw my video the other day about us not moving, and I did a house tour about what we're going to be doing in the spare room. If you haven't already seen that video, go check it out. I will try to remember to leave it linked below. So yeah, if you haven't watched that, go watch that now. Okay, so I'm going to assume everyone has already watched this video. No, the previous video. That other video I was just talking about. English is not working for me today. Which isn't very good because I don't know any other languages. Anywho, moving on with life. So what this is I've done a blueprint of the spare room, which is soon to become my new craft room. I'm just calling it the spare room for now because I do have the craft room drawn up as well, and I'm leaving it labelled as craft room for now, just because until I make the switch I'm going to keep referring to them as such. But as you know from the other video, the spare room will become my craft room and my current craft room will become a nursery. Once again, not pregnant at the moment. So anywho, I went around with my lovely husband. He helped me out, and we ran around and we measured the perimeter of both rooms, which is kind of funny because they share one particular wall, and so you know you'd think it'd be the same size. No, there's 2 inches difference. 2 flipping inches. In case you don't know inches, that's that big. Yeah. Hooray for the dodgy house. But anywho, moving on. So we went around, measured all the stuff, and I shall just zoom in a little bit. So this is the spare room one. So over here we have the door. This has all been measured in inches, and then I scaled it down to millimeters. So it is kind of accurate. The only bits that I didn't sort of measure properly is like the window and door. Like where they're supposed to be in the room. They're not exactly measured. Like technically this would be like over here where the 5 is, but anyway, that's cool. That doesn't really matter. So you have the door there. I have the 2 PowerPoints marked, and then that is the big cupboard. This spot over here, it is right in the back corner of the room. There is the cupboard there, and there is like 3 mattresses in front of it and a whole pile of boxes. So it was virtually impossible to get into there. Now, based off of the rest of the measurements, I kept coming up with about 3 different numbers for how big this spot should be, and I wasn't even sure if it was supposed to be that. So I put the most accurate number in, and then just sort of cut off that section. The way that I see it is I'd be happy to build or buy a special set of shelves for that spot once I have changed this into my craft room. So I'm not too worried about that. That's just sort of going to be sort of a bonus bit of area that I will get once we are all moved around and sorted in that. But this is to get the general idea. And this is so that I can have a bit of play and imaginings until then, because, you know, it's fun. So the other thing that I did was I went through and measured my craft table, which is this piece of over here. These aren't stuck down, they're loose. Which is this table that I'm currently got covered in crap. This other little thing up here, actually I might move these onto the wood so you can see them a bit better. Hooray for glare. This little thing here is my craft stand thing that I built a couple of years ago. That is what that is, because at the moment there are only, including the cupboard that's pretty much built into the room, there are only 3 pieces of furniture, aside from like chairs and that I'm 100% sure that are going to be in there. So those 3 pieces are this table, the shelves behind me, and then we're going to be moving our kitchen table out of the kitchen, putting it in my craft room, and we're going to be doing something else in the kitchen. I'm not sure if I mentioned what we're going to be doing or not in the other video. In case I didn't, or you hadn't been bothered to go and watch it. Oh, would you look at that? Someone shipped something I sent from eBay. How nice of them. Yeah, so if you haven't watched that video, or you have and I didn't talk about it, we're going to be switching out our kitchen table for a bunch of shelves and or cupboards. Just because at the moment we use it more as a storing space than a workspace, so it's just basically taking up too much space. So yeah, we're going to be moving that into my craft room. Now, I had it in my head that those two tables were the same size. Looking at the two pieces of paper, they are obviously not. I could just about manage to fit all three pieces of furniture in one small square. How interesting is that? So, oh my goodness, now I'm getting emails. So, moving across, so working on that idea of fitting all three into one spot. This is really hard to do with my left hand. I could pretty much just put it in the center of the room and have plenty of room around it, but I'm not going to do that. The other really interesting idea that I didn't find out until I measured everything was the little craft room shelves fits perfectly in this little spot, between the wall and the door. How interesting is that? And the door does open. Hang on, I should draw this. The door opens that way. So I could very easily put that little piece of furniture in that little corner and it would fit perfectly. And my OCD is just so excited about that. It's having a little party in my brain. But anyway, moving on from my weirdness. I have sort of one main sort of idea in the back of my head of what to do so far with these three. And then I have sort of a newer idea that my husband thinks is a stupid idea. But anyway, I'll tell you anyhow. So the first idea, let me remember where everything was that there, this table over like in that corner, and then this table in this corner. And my husband thinks that's a really good idea because I'll have plenty of room to walk around. What he doesn't really seem to realise is that I don't walk around my craft room. I sit and do stuff on the table, and I spread out all over the table. One of the big problems is I can't get over to that corner at the moment as my craft room is set up. If I put this desk, this table that I'm currently at, in the corner, I will not be able to get to that corner. I will not be able to get to, 27 inches worth of the table. Considering it's a 60-inch table, that means I will only be able to get to about half of the table. The rest of it will be behind a freaking wall, and it will pretty much be in a three-sided wall. So I'm not too mad on that idea. I think if nothing else, I should put like a shelf in there or something. Probably not that one because it's quite small, but a bigger shelf in there. Hey look, there's Minnie. Say hi, Minnie. Okay, she's gonna go exploring. Who knows what the hell she'll find in here. Probably a lost civilization or something. So, anywho, my second idea was to have, this is before I realised that the tables weren't exactly the same size, because, you know, they seem like it. Not that I've ever seen them together in the same room, but, you know. My other idea was to have a little shelf somewhere along that wall, and then have the two tables side by side, and have basically a ginormous, absorb that word for a second, ginormous work surface in the middle of the room. And basically have like a chair on each side, maybe one on the end as well, and I could basically just get to the whole thing at once. Then I noticed the difference. There is a 13-inch difference in the size, which, looking at our handy dandy tape measure, Actually, probably just be, oh no, it's not big enough. Looking at the size, it's freaking massive. Okay, it's not freaking massive. It is quite substantial though. To have 13 extra inches off one side, I think it would just bug the hell out of me. But my main problem is I can't really put anything up against here because on the front of the cupboard, if you didn't watch the other video, there are 3 sliding doors, which are a pain in the butts to open, but anyway, I'm thinking of taking them off. Having just basically a big shelf thing, because in the cupboard there's like there's a couple of shelves and there's a couple of drawers. There is like hanging space, but not that much. Not as much as there is in my current craft room cupboard. All of that is hanging space, and then there's like 3 drawers down there. So it's a lot harder to utilize that cupboard for crafting. So I will be able to use this cupboard a bit more, but I don't want to have anything in front of it particularly. I suppose I could have a table against that wall, a table against that wall, and then shelves against that wall. The other thing to consider, which I haven't had to consider in this room because there aren't any, no, there are not any PowerPoints in this room. Hooray for old houses. There are 2 in this room. I think the second one got installed because I think this one was there originally. I think this one got installed because there is a Foxtel PowerPoint, which is basically Australian cable, if you're watching this anywhere but Australia. There's a point for that there, so I think they used to have a Foxtel TV in there, which is why they had an extra PowerPoint put in. If only they had to put one on the other side of the wall as well. I suppose it doesn't work like that. No, it doesn't. Anyway, moving on with life. So, yeah. This is what I'm working with at the moment. I haven't got a concrete idea. I'm just messing around. But I thought I'd show you not only my progress, but the idea of doing up a scale version of your room, a scale version of your furniture, and you can move them around as much as you like. Oh, it feels so good. And play around with them and mix and match them and, yeah, do whatever you like with them. And you don't have to move a single piece of furniture. And then when you're like, oh, it looks wonderful, you can then go and actually move the furniture. Not that I think that anyone would have their furniture like this, but, you know, you get the idea. So, yeah, I'm going to shut up now because this is getting to be quite a long video. And I'm sure you're all about to, you know, stab yourselves in the eye with a pencil. So, yeah, I shall talk to you a bit later. I will probably have another video like this sometime in the future when I'm working at my nursery. I don't know why I drew this room up when I did. I just sort of did and went, hang on a second, I don't need this one at the moment because I don't have any furniture to measure yet. But I do have some craft room furniture. So the other thing is I can sort of look at this, and if I work out sort of generally where I want like the tables and that, then I can work out what size shelves I need and I can keep an eye out for them or look at building them or whatever. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.